everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share with you this product from the Stamps of Life that was recently released, and it is the dotted tag die set. And you can see that it comes with several of these tags, and they do have the dots on the edges of them. And these dots are neat because if you wanted to actually use some embroidery thread and then stitch through these, you can do so. But they also just provide a nice little accent for the edges of your tags. And you can also see that the tags, they do have the holes that punch out at the top, so you don't need to worry about punching your own hole. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these tags, with the largest one being 2 7/8 by 5.5, so it's 2 7/8 by 5.5, so it's a pretty big size tag. And then the smallest, look how tiny this one is. This one is 3/4 by 1 5/16. And this is a neat addition. This is a For You word die that is a drop-in for this particular tag. So if you drop this in just like that, it will actually cut out the words for you that you can layer on the tag. And here is an example of that. So you can see how the actual tag was cut out. This was cut out with the red cardstock, and then it was die cut again, just like this, with the drop-in out of this blue cardstock that was then adhered to the red tag. So I think that's pretty neat. And you can layer these tags, and I'm gonna make a tag with you today that is gonna be a layered tag, so you'll see how I do that. I'm starting out by taking my largest tag die, and I die cut a piece of strawberry cardstock and banana cardstock. And I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to take a piece of pattern paper from the XOXO collection. And I'm going to use this as a layering piece for my tag. So I'm going to take out my paper trimmer, and I am going to cut this down so that it measures 2.5 inches. And it's going to measure 2.5 inches this way by 4.5 inches this way. So we're going to cut this at 2.5 by 4.5. So this piece will layer nicely on top of that tag. And you can see how you can still see the dots around the edges. So now for the strawberry piece, I'm going to take that same pattern paper, flip it over, and I'm going to cut it down the same size, 2.5 by 4.5. And then I'm just going to add glue and add those to my tags. Next, I'm going to use 2 penguins. These are from the Wattle Penguins to Stamp set, and I am inking these up on some Spectrum Noir Ultra Smooth cardstock, and the ink pad that I'm using is the Spectrum Noir Finesse Noir Black ink, and it's for alcohol marker coloring because I am going to color these up with my Copic markers. So you need to use that paper and ink that is good for alcohol marker coloring. Let me just ink these up one more time.
I am using my Copic markers to color these penguins, and I am using the colors in the C family, which is the cool grays. And I'm starting out with my darkest color, which is the C9, and I'm just going over the edges of that penguin, the part that is normally black on a penguin. And after I do that, I bring in my next lightest color, which is C7, and I just kind of start at the edge of that where the other color left off, and I add a little bit of the C7 and extend it a little bit into the white. Then I come in with my C5 and do the same thing. Here I am going over where the C7 left off and extending that down a little bit. And as I'm starting to color this, I see that the blending is really far off. You can see that there's quite a difference in those colors between the C5 and the C7. So I decide that I'm going to bring in my C6 shade to close the gap between those two colors. I think that the C6 really was much better just adding that in and then finishing it off with the C5. So here I just finish off throughout the white with the C5, and then it gives a little bit of a shading, blending effect from dark to light. And I'm going to be doing that for both penguins. So here I'm doing the same thing, same process with the smaller penguin. And if you do use Copic markers to color up your images and you don't have any of these colors in the C family, you could also use the warm grays, which is the W family, with the similar colors in the W family. So here I'm going to go ahead and bring in my YR24, and that's my darkest shade. I am going to be using that for the feet, just doing a little bit of outlining here. I'm also going to be using this color for the beak. So the beak and the feet are going to be the same color. And then I'm going to bring on a little bit lighter shade, it's the Y21, and just go over that and just kind of blend those colors together. I do decide to add a little bit of the lighter grays to the center of the body instead of keeping it all white. I do put in some of the C0 and C00 and just blend those out. I also bring in my blender pen and just kind of blend those out. I don't know if you can actually see that on the screen, but it does add a little bit of texture. You can see some dimension there. And then add some R20 for the cheeks, and then I use the matching dyes and just die cut those out.
So here are my penguins all colored and die cut. Next, I'm going to take my dotted heart dies, and I die cut this heart out of the white, which is the powdered sugar cardstock. And now I'm going to take this Love You drop in, and I'm going to use the same heart and just drop it in. And I'm going to die cut this out of some strawberry cardstock with double-sided adhesive on the back. So when that goes through the die cut machine, it's gonna go just like this. So you have your large heart around and your drop in right inside. So when that comes out of the die cut machine, this is what you're left with. You have this beautiful word that's dropped into the heart, and it says love you, and it's all connected. It's one entire piece. So you can see what that looks like. And now you'll just take your adhesive backing off. Make sure all your holes are poked out of it, and then that will just layer right on top of your white heart because it will provide a nice background for that word to overlay. Isn't that pretty? Next, I'm just going to add this to my tag that has the banana cardstock. And then we'll add the penguin right below. And then for the next tag, we're going to have this little guy down here at the bottom. And I'm going to stamp the rest of the sentiment in here. This is the love statement set. It's from the love statement set, and there's several sentiments in here. And I'm going to use you. Well, it says love you on here. It says love you on the heart. So here is a sentiment that says I love you more. So instead of saying you, I'm going to say more, and then I'm going to use the I as the exclamation mark. So I'm going to stamp that out with some Forever Black ink. So it says love you more, and then we'll put this little guy down here at the bottom. And then we're going to take both of our tags and we're just going to layer them up with some ribbon. So I'm going to put some ribbon through the hole. So I'm just going to tie this in a knot up here at the top of my tag. And then I'm just going to trim off the ends. And that completes this tag. So you can see that I created a layered tag, and you can use these as, you know, on a gift bag, on a present. You can use these on a card front. You can actually take this and just lay it right on a card front, and that would be really cute as well. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.